Namaste, yogis. Hello, my name is Cora, and I'm a yoga teacher at Taiga Yoga in Yellowknife. And I'll be practicing doing a gentle flow with you tonight. So if you can start lying on your back if you'd like, but you can also start in seated. My leg will be out just because I'm dealing with some knee stuff on this one side. But if you're in seated, you can sit on a bolster or a block or a pillow, whatever you have to get your hips a little higher than your knees. And then you'll put one heel to the groin and then the other heel in front of that. But again, I'll put my leg out to the side. And just take a moment, find yourself softening the shoulders, lengthening the breath, and just taking a brief moment of stillness before we flow, before we get into it. Nice, long, purposeful, transformative breaths. And perhaps taking comfortable pauses at the top of your inhales. And if it's comfortable, pause at the bottom of your exhale. Softening the shoulders. Letting all tension go, the tension you may have had during the day, letting it go now. Softening with the breath. Connecting with the breath. Beautiful. Okay, if you're on that bolster, you can bring yourself off. And we'll take the right heel into the groin and bringing the left leg long in front of you. And we'll bring the right arm behind us. We're going to engage the glutes and lift the hips up and reach the left arm behind into a joy pose. Deep inhale to get into that joy pose. Exhale, swing that arm forward. Inhale, engage the hips or the glutes and lift the hips up. Perhaps the opening up that arm to the side. Exhale, swing. Last one. And exhale, bring yourself forward. And if it's comfortable, bringing the hands along or either side of the left leg. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, falling forward. However far it's comfortable. Again, goal to try to keep the back relatively straight and with the leading with the abdomen. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale all the way up. Then we'll bring the other heel, so the left heel into the groin, the other leg nice and long. And again, we're coming on the outside of the shin here. Or rather on the shin when we bring ourselves up. So we're bringing the left hand behind us. And on your next inhale, engage the glutes, lift the hips, bringing yourself up into that gentle joy pose. Exhale, falling forward, swinging that arm. Inhale, swinging it back, lift to that joyful joy pose. Exhale, coming down. Last one, inhale. And exhale, falling down. Bringing those hands either side of the right leg. Again, my knee needs a bit of, it can't be bent too much. But anyway, framing that right leg, inhale, spine long, exhale, lean and leading with the abdomen. So there doesn't need to be much lean. If they're just here or here, just so long as you're feeling it, a stretch in the hamstring, stretch in the calf, really point those toes up to the ceiling to feel it in the calf as well. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale all the way up. Now I had you start in seated on a bolster. Now if that's uncomfortable for you, there's also an option to be in kneeling. So if you do have a bolster at home or a pillow, you can put that between your knees and sit. So if any teacher, if you're wanting to meditate and in a cross-legged position isn't really comfortable for you, this is another option. So your tailbone is tucked. We'll do a little wrist warm up as well, which is really, really nice for the wrists, injury prevention, all that good stuff. If you're typing a lot during the day or anything like that, it's all good. Okay, so they're called, I like to call them wrist fireworks. So you're going to be creating fists and then circling the hands outward. And then we're going to bring the arms outward at the same time. So we're circling the wrists outward, creating fists, and spreading them wide. And then once it is all the way out, then you're going to turn the wrists inward while you bring the arms in. Then we're going to bring the arms forward, twirling the wrists out. And then twirl the wrists in as we bring the arms in. Continuing with those long, steady breaths, bring the arms up. And then circling the wrists in, you'll start warming up probably around now. It's a beautiful wrist exercise. Then shake it out. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to come off that bolster into a neutral tabletop. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and do a little cat-cow action here. So dropping the belly on your inhale, gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale, rounding out into your angry cat. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cat. Movement with breath. You bring little spine circles as well. So circling one way. Again, keeping with that breath. So inhale to drop the belly. Exhale to round out. Circling the other way. Exhale. Beautiful. Coming to your neutral tabletop. We'll inhale the left arm up. Get a little twist. Exhale, thread that arm through, thread the needle. Dropping the head to the side. And you can press and tent the fingers of the right hand. Press into those fingers to find a deeper twist. In the thoracic spine, drishti point, which is point of focus, the corner of the right, or between the corner of the eyes, gazing up to the ceiling. Further find us in that meditative state. We can find that meditation even in the movement. Quieting the mind. Beautiful. Bringing yourself up, thread that arm up to the ceiling, that left arm, and exhale, bring it back down. Beautiful. Inhale, right arm to ceiling. Exhale, thread that arm through. Dropping that head, tenting fingers of the left hand, finding that twist in the upper back. Gaze up through the left corners of the eyes, up to the ceiling. Focusing on that still point. Beautiful. Inhale. Hand or right hand comes through up to ceiling. Beautiful. Exhale, bring that hand down. And we'll bring our toes together, knees mat width apart. Rock yourself back into a child's pose. If child's pose is at all uncomfortable for you, you can bring something underneath or between the calves and the hamstrings and sink yourself back. You might be a little high. You might also want to put a block underneath your forehead if you feel you're far away from the mat. Or again, bringing yourself back into that child. You're pointing your tailbone down to the earth, sinking the hips back, forehead, the third eye to the mat. Breathe. You're more than welcome to stay here for as long as you want. This is considered the sort of rest pose. If anything becomes too difficult in any class, you can always come back here. If you'd like to bring movement to breath, one of my favorite spinal lubrications is rocking yourself forward into that cow. So dropping the belly, gaze to ceiling. Exhale, rocking yourself back into that child. Inhale, cow. Exhale, child's. Beautiful. Rocking yourself forward into that neutral tabletop. We'll tuck the toes and bring ourselves up into downward facing dog. So our tailbone is up to the ceiling. Hands shoulder width apart, pressing into all areas of the hand, but light in the wrists here. Triceps point down towards the mat. Ears nice and high towards the shoulder, shoulders high towards the ears rather. And goal here is to have your back nice and straight. So if your hamstrings are tight, you may want to have bent knees here. Beautiful. Breathe. Wonderful. We're going to tiptoe, walk yourself gently up to the front of your mat in ragdoll, forward fold. Now you may be a little far from the mat and it might be difficult to have the hands on the mat. If that's the case, you may have 2 blocks to bring the ground closer to you. I recommend having 2 blocks. And if you don't, it's all good, no worries. So here's your forward fold. So again, if you need blocks, go ahead. Allow the shoulders and head get nice and heavy. And just breathe here. Feeling the space between the vertebrae. And the shoulders to fall and melt to the earth. Release the neck. Shake the head yes and no to release it even further. Grab elbows if you need even further weight. This is creating nice or a lot of space in all those joints, as this is a variation of an inversion. Again, getting our head lower than our heart, allowing gravity to do the work here. Beautiful. Release the elbows if you have them. Roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Head comes up last. Beautiful. If you have a strap at home or a belt or scarf, anything like that, this is one of my favorites for shoulders, chest opener. Again, if you tend to have quite tight chest, back, all that stuff. When we're living in this cold climate, we tend to get small. So this is wonderful. So taking a strap, belt, whatever you have, it doesn't need to be stretchy. Pointing or holding on to that strap, pulling the strap apart, and we're going to inhale the strap up. Exhale. Bring the strap behind you. You may have to hold the strap at a wider point if you're tighter. Inhale it up. Exhale. Beautiful. This is a really enjoyable one, so I understand if you want to do this a few times. One of my favorites. Take your time, go slow, or stay in parts that feel really good to you. Inhale the band up. Exhale the band down. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Keeping hold of that band. If you're quite tight, I'll show the variation option and then without the band. So with the band, having it behind you, fingers are pointed towards each other to open up the chest. And we're going to inhale, exhale, bend in the knees, hinge at the hips, forward fold. You can release the strap on the roll up. Head comes up last. Grab a hold of that strap again. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bend in the knees, and forward fold. Really warming up the spine. This is great. Spinal health is so important, especially as we age, all that stuff. So I love spinal waves. And then the next option, or once you progress on, you'll be able to interlace the fingers. Sorry. Interlace, inhale, puff chest. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bend in the knees, forward fold. Exhale, roll up. Again, you can release or keep hold. Beautiful. Next one, before we flow, we're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and just come halfway. We're going to feel a stretch in the hamstring here. You're also going to feel the stabilizer muscles engage here. So spine is neutral, engaging the core. Inhale yourself up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Beautiful. Inhale up. Last one. Beautiful. Inhale up. Exhale, arms by your side. Beautiful. All right, coming to the front of your mat, toes together, heels slightly apart, lifting the kneecaps, so engaging the thighs, arms by your side, palms facing forward, shoulders away from the ears, core engaged, breathing into the diaphragm, glutes engaged. And here we are in Tadasana, mountain pose. And as if you're holding or kind of visualize holding onto heavy briefcases, pulling the arms down, and at the same time envisioning a string pulling you up from the crown of the head, nice and tall. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale, namaste. Hands start center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive, arms out into T, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Near your blocks. At the ready. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step that right foot back, right knee down into our low lunge. Inhale. Beautiful. Exhale, straighten the front leg, half split. Connecting with the body with each movement. Inhale, low lunge. Engage that right glute to feel that stretch in the hip flexor. Exhale, half split. Wonderful. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, bending into the front leg. Lift that back knee. And exhale, rock onto the heel of the front foot, stepping yourself forward into that halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back with the left foot now, lowering that left knee. Engage that left glute. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, straighten the front leg, half split. Again, if the ground is really far away from you, blocks are awesome. If you're dealing with injuries, movement with breath, you might notice that I'm exhaling on the fold. I like generally cue, inhale to lengthen, inhale to get long. Exhale to fall, to get small. Wonderful. Inhale, rock forward, last one. Exhale, straighten front leg, half split, fold. Inhale, bend into the front leg, lifting the back knee, rocking onto the heel of the front foot, rocking yourself forward into half split. Exhale, fold. Wonderful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into a plank. Inhale. Exhale, lowering the knees, then chin, then chest. Bring yourself onto your belly. And we'll go through the cobra cues. So you're pressing your feet in, or the tops of the feet into the mat. Hands are beside the shoulders. And we're going to inhale, pull the mat towards us to find your lift. Chin stays tucked, shoulder blades together. You might notice you're not going up too far. Kneecaps are lifted, glutes engaged. Exhale, forehead to the mat. Let's try that again. Inhale, pull the mat towards you. Press those feet into the mat. You may find a higher lift. Exhale, forehead to mat. Bend into the knees or Tuck the toes, bring yourself back into that child's pose. Exhale. Inhale, rock forward. Tuck toes, downward facing dog. Awesome. We can walk the dog here. Walking the dog is bending one leg, straightening the other. Doing that on either side a few times if it feels good. Nice, deep, slow breaths. Wonderful. Walking, tipping toes to the front of your mat into that glorious ragdoll forward fold. Release the head and neck. Wonderful. Bring those blocks beside you just in case you need them here. And we're gonna inhale, or let's roll ourselves up. We'll step ourselves back gently into our warrior ones. Okay, warrior one, we're gonna step the right foot back slightly, and that right back foot is slanted 40 degrees. There's a slight bend in the front knee, and the knee is in line with the ankle. Hips are square to the front of your room. And we're gonna press into the outside edge of that back foot. Kneecap of that right leg is lifted, right glute engaged, tailbone tucked, pelvic tilt. And here is our warrior one. Inhale, reach the arms up. You can point the pinkies towards each other. That helps open up the shoulders. And breathe. Inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, exhale. Hinge at the hips, straighten the front leg. We're going to come to a pyramid pose. And here are our blocks. Again, big fan of blocks at the highest setting. You can have a micro bend of the front knee if it's uncomfortable to have it straight. Hips are now stay square and squared to the mat here. Inhale, exhale. Let's get a nice twist in here. Keeping the right hand planted on that block or the ground. Inhale, rolling that left arm up to the ceiling, and like a yo-yo, exhale. Dragging it across the chest, reaching it down to the floor. Inhale, dragging across the right arm, up the chest, and to the ceiling. Last time. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. Really threading the shoulders. Exhale down. Beautiful. Left hand to the block. Rock yourself forward. Exhale. Forward fold. Roll up. Knees back. Head comes up last. Awesome. Okay, we'll step now the left foot back. Doing the other side. Slight bend in the front leg. Knee is over ankle. Hips are square to the front of the room. Pelvic tilt slightly here. Left glute engage. Pressing the outside edge of that back foot into the mat to find the strength there, as well as pressing into all areas of that front foot. Inhale, reach the arms up, pinkies towards each other, shoulders soft, and breathe. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, hinge at the hips, straighten the front leg, and pyramid pose, the other side here. Again, hips squared to the mat. You can exhale, forward fold for a moment if it feels good. And inhale, halfway lift, keeping the left hand on the block here. And we're going to inhale, drag that right arm up to the ceiling. Exhale, thread it down, pressing into all areas of the feet. Same time, really grounding yourself so it's a lot easier to get that twist. If it's uncomfortable, again, micro bend in the front knee. Exhale, drop it down, hands down to both blocks. Inhale, rocking yourself forward, and exhale, forward fold. Rolling up, Namaste. Toes together, heels slightly apart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands at the hips falling down. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, hands on block if you need. Exhale, step yourself back into plank. And knees, then chin, then chest on your next exhale. Last cobra. Inhale, find your lift. Exhale, pressing yourself back into closed knees, child's pose. Arms by your side, palms facing up, forehead to the mat. Rock side to side. Allow the shoulders to sink in nice and heavy. On your next exhale, sigh with the mouth. Rolling up, head comes up loud. Shifting onto one hip. And then we'll slowly bring ourselves down onto our mat. Rolling down however you need to get there. Beautiful. Arms out into T. And then we'll come to a nice twist. So generally, in most yoga classes, you'll get a twist at the end of the class. So we'll start with the gentlest one. So the arms are out into T, and you're going to feet are planted hip width apart. We're going to shift the hips really far over to the right. And then our shins, we're going to hover them so they're mat, level. And on your next exhale, we're going to twist those knees or drop them gently over to the left. And then we're going to gaze over to the right. Shoulders are nice and flat, or as flat as you can get them on the mat. And if there's space in between the knees or your knees aren't on the mat, you can bring a block, a bolster, a pillow in between those knees, wherever there's space. Deep breaths into the belly. So inhale, expanding the belly, perhaps massaging the spine from the inside with those deep breaths. And then on the exhale, feeling deeper and deeper in the twist. Stay here as long as you'd like, but if you're done with that side, inhale yourself back to center. Feet plant, then shift the hips really far over to the left now. Cover the knees or shins, parallel to mat. Exhale, drop the knees gently over to the right. And gaze over to the left. Slowing down the breath here. Whenever you're ready, bring yourself back to center. Tucking your knees to your nose, bring your nose to your knees, engage every muscle of the body. Inhale. And sigh with the mouth. Into final relaxation, Shavasana. Shavasana, you can take as much space as you'd like here. The arms can be wide, legs can be wide. Toes point outward to open up the hips slightly. Palms face up. Open up the chest. Bring the shoulder blades together. Lift the chest up slightly and then fall into it. Gauge the abdomen. Press the lower back into the mat. Release. If you need to, move the love out of the way and you get closer to the mat. And even just for a brief moment, take some time to be still. Each exhale, melting deeper and deeper into the mat. Allowing solid, still spaciousness wash over you. Om. 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 Om Namah Shivaya, the light in me, always the light in you. Thank you so much for taking the time to come to your mat, move your body, and have a wonderful evening. Again, my name is Cora from Taiga. If you ever want to know more about our classes, our schedule, don't hesitate to get in touch.